Welcome to the third edition of the Buff Mountain Festival at Valdeboy, Spain. The recognized mountain event has a wide range of activities that combine sports and culture with epic races and many activities for all ages. The heart of the festival sits in Baruera. The village in the Pyrenees is the setting for the start and finish lines of all sports events. These will go through the magnificent landscapes of the picturesque Valdeboy, an incredible natural paradise formed by hundreds of lakes of different shapes and colors, rivers, ravines, and waterfalls that make it a fantastic area to exercise and be active. The athletes who will compete in the different races of the Buff Epic Trail gather in Baruera. Andreu Simon, last year's winner during the Johan Rojas Memorial, hasn't forgotten the epic triumph of the 65K Buff Epic Trail. A few years ago, I started going outside and running sporadically with some friends. At that time, they also diagnosed me with diabetes, which was frustrating as it took away many things from me. But practicing sport and running in the mountains allowed me to be in a space that allowed me to decide for myself what I wanted to do. If I wanted to walk, to run, to climb, or to go down, I could decide many things there, in contrast with the diabetes for which you have to be controlled at all times. But as the running in the mountains gave me so much freedom, I got really addicted to it. It gave me self-confidence to face any challenge on a daily basis. Until today, I've enjoyed it very much and I'm very happy. I feel very fulfilled and I enjoy what I'm doing very much, and I hope I can do it for a long time. I can run, I can do any distance I want, obviously always controlled and with a plan, but I'm getting to know myself more and more every day, and I'm very careful with my diet. I always have insulin and a permanent glucose monitor with me. I try to process this information as fast as I can during a competition or training to achieve the best results I can.
I aquesta informació la intento processar el més ràpid possible en competició o amb entrenaments per treure el màxim resultat.
Last year was my first 65K race. It's an 8-hour race, and I had never done one before. Everything was new to me, and I came with the idea to just enjoy. I definitely didn't come with the idea to win. But after many kilometers, I saw myself in front, and that there was a possibility for me to win this. This gave me a push. In addition, all the parties that get set up for the Buff Mountain Festival are incredible. It's amazing that we can have this close to our home. So this year I was really looking forward to getting here and improving my time and claiming the victory again, if I can. I've trained the circuit a couple of times, so I hope I won't get lost as I did in the previous year. The race itself and the route are amazing and offer spectacular views. It's a very hard race and the goal is to win again. But we'll see, as there are many other runners that have come with the same goal in mind. Belinda Ortiz, an Andalusian runner and fan of long-distance races, comes with the goal of finishing the ultra and enjoying it at the very least. I started doing shorter races. Then I realized that I liked long-distance races more, so I began to compete in the longer races. I've come back to Valdeboy because it's impressive. The 1,000-meter uphill and the peaks at almost 3,000 meters really appeal to me.
Las cumbres más de 2.000, casi 3.000 metros me llaman mucho la atención. El recorrido es bastante exigente.
The route is quite demanding because we have a 65K with a 5K positive climb. Right after the start, we have the 1,000-meter climb, and then there's the big descent followed by a small climb. After that, there's the segment which I think can damage the legs most. It's at that last segment where we have a very steep long descent. It's got about 1,300 meters downhill until you get to the river, where it's a bit flatter towards the finish line.
Hasta llegar aquí a la orilla del río.
The Buff Mountain Festival to me is a great initiative, not only for us runners, but it's a family-friendly setting where people can come with their kids, and there's paragliding, canyoning, or cinema sessions. Altogether, there are many activities in addition to the mountain bike or the trail races. This festival brings a lot of different activities to the village Baruera. The Buff Mountain Festival organizes many activities for all kinds of guests, including different adventure sports, rafting, canyoning, ferrata tours, climbing, a lot of activities for the participants to enjoy. Everything is ready for tomorrow's competitions. Early on Saturday, the competition begins. At 6 o'clock in the morning, the Joan Roas Memorial kicks off with 65 kilometers in distance and 5,000 meters of total ascent. I'm a bit nervous. We didn't sleep much due to the pre-race tension, but I'm looking forward to the start and I hope everything will go well. I've slept very well. I'm a calm sleeper, and now we're going to enjoy the Val de Boí with its mountains and its crests and everything else. Let's enjoy it and get to the finish line soon.
A pasarlo genial y a llegar puntito a meta.
I'm really happy to race this race, but I'm also really afraid of it because it's quite a lot of elevations and it will be a long race. But I hope to manage it, so yes, I have a good feeling. So.
It's still dark outside all the way through the streets of Baruera. The runners are ready to face the first climb. The first parts of the race, Abel Carretero and Andreu Simon managed to get a small gap ahead of Ernest Osiro. In the women's race, Elise Hay and Natalia San set a fast pace. They're closely followed by Aida Perez, a small gap with many kilometers still to overcome. For them, knowing how to manage their energy stores during this long distance is key. 1 kilometer after the other passes, and the sun rapidly raises the temperature in the valley. The athletes arrive at Taul. Andreu Simon takes advantage of the difficult route and is in the lead at the midpoint of the race. It's an important strategic moment in the competition. Good, still quick and able to make decisions. His teammate Ernest Osiro comes through Taul in second. For the women, Aida Perez is in the lead. Belinda Ortiz arrives with optimism. The first bit has been tricky, but now is when the body starts to function well. I'm good in the heat as I'm from the south, so now we're going to push and see if everything is on our side. Thank you. See ya.
The very first part was excellent, it was beautiful, but when the sun came up it became a little bit hot and I got a little bit dizzy. Yeah, very tired, so I'll see. If I come to the finish, then I don't believe I'll make it. We'll see.
As the race goes on, the legs get more and more tired. But Ernest Osiro, who is confident in second place, still has enough power to catch up with Andreu Simon just 10 kilometers before the finish line. Abel Carretero remains in third position, but far from being able to get involved in the battle for victory. Just a few minutes before the finish line and the two leaders are neck and neck. Looks like this tough race will be decided in the last few meters. But no, both runners cross the finish line side by side, sharing the win. Trail running really is a different sport with values that cross borders. I was able to stay in the lead for a long time until the Boí Taul ski resort, where my teammate Ernest caught up with me, and as we saw, we had a pretty big advantage from the third, and as he is competing next week, we decided to go together. I was really looking forward to coming back here as I won the race last year. It's a very special race for me. And being able to win again, especially being able to share with Ernest, who is a good friend, gives me an even better memory of this race. We are from the same team, we're teammates, and we decided to arrive together. We've helped each other, and it's a very hard race. It's been very hot, but it's amazing. After a magnificent comeback in the women's category, Elizabeth Rios takes the victory in 11 hours, 53 minutes, and 3 seconds. I loved it, especially all the crests and downhills. It's what I like the most.
lo que más me gusta.
A jubilant Ida Perez comes in second. Belinda Ortiz comes in third position, brimming with joy. I've made it, yes. I've done it bit by bit. Slowly, I felt better and better, and I got more and more motivated. After I got to the top, I just went full on to the downhill. Amazing. I had a great time. After almost 12 hours, Elizabeth Rios wins the Johan Rojas Memorial 2019, more than 12 minutes ahead of Aida Perez. Belinda Ortiz completes the podium in third. Polish runner Anna Kachka and Norwegian Elise Hay managed to finish the race in 5th and 7th positions, respectively. Andreu Simon and Ernest Osiro finished the race in 8 hours 41 minutes, more than 40 minutes ahead of the third-place runner Jakub Uhorek from the Czech Republic. The presentation and briefing for the 42-kilometer Buff Epic Trail, which is part of the Migu Run Skyrunner World Series, takes place to finish off a long and exciting day. British runner Jonathan Albon, who is very skilled in technical descents, is looking forward to the race.
I actually only started running when I was 20, and I'm 30 now, so the last 10 years. But before that, I was playing skate hockey, it's like ice hockey but on wheels. And then when I quit, I had to stay fit, so I took up running a little bit and just really enjoyed it. So I ran more and more and more and started entering into races. And then here I am in the Pyrenees running Buff Epic Trail. I think the thing I like most about trail running and sky running is just the fact that you get up into the nature. There's not really that many places left in the world where the nature's kind of left how it was and hasn't been affected too much by humans. So in these races and training for these races, you can get up into the nature, just immerse yourself and just forget about everything else in life. I haven't done the race before, but I came last year on a holiday to the Pyrenees and came into Val de Bois and stayed here for 2 or 3 days and did some running around, and was so amazed by the mountains and how beautiful it was. We just thought, why not come back and do the race? So that's why we're here this year. Living in Norway and training in Norway, the biggest difference is the weather, so it's a lot hotter here, and the altitude. So normally I live at sea level, so to come up and race from 1,400 metres up to 2,700 metres it's a big change for me. So those two things are the biggest challenges for me when I come to a different race like this. But I definitely like to win the race on Sunday, but it's going to be tough if it is hot and I'm not perfectly acclimatised. So if it does, for instance, rain, I think my chances of doing well are going to be improved. I just hope it doesn't mean that we have to do a different course, because I ran part of the top section of the course a few days ago and it was just such a beautiful ridge. So if it rains but we can't do the ridge, I think I'll still be upset, but I definitely do want it to rain. I think how the skyrunning season's been set up this year, the extra bonus points are really important. So I think it's made a lot of good runners come here, and it's going to be a really important race to the entire series.
American Megan Kimmel has come to Val de Bois for the first time.
Skyrunning to me it's a pure mountain experience, and that certainly is hard to find in any other sport. Just like the tranquility of nature combined with competition and athleticism is what I think skyrunning is really all about. It's interesting how it brings competitors, I think, together a lot more than traditional kinds of running and racing like marathons and track events. I find that you end up being pretty good friends with your competitors, which makes it an interesting thing to compete against each other, but I think is actually a really strengthening thing. And yeah, I think it's one of the best things about the sport, really. And I think there's a big difference between skyrunning in the world versus the United States, especially when you break it down into Europe. The style of trails and tracks around here is a lot steeper. They're older, they were set up more for direct travel, where in the United States our trails are less steep. You know, they're much more gradual because they were set up for more of enjoyment and hiking, I think. And there's a lot better access to a lot more trails in Europe that get to more technical terrain. Coming from Colorado, I definitely have the advantage of being good at high altitude, because our mountains there, start at 3,000 meters. The race at its top is where our mountains almost start in Colorado. So I'm not sure if it's quite high enough to have the altitude training really kick into gear. And with everything, you have advantages and disadvantages. So for me here, I feel it's more humid in Spain. The heat is hotter. So I think that maybe the altitude training is not the best advantage for this race.
There's a lot at stake in this incredible 42-kilometer route with a 2,800-meter climb. It goes towards the Col de Bois Spa, passing through the Toul to face the climb towards Lubriqueto and Estanc de Roí. From there it goes down to Eril-Laval before its last climb to the Colada de Basco and Puerto de la Galada. From this point it's a long descent to the finish line. American runner Zack Miller will try the marathon this year together with the best in the world.
I think mostly I just really like to run, and I like the mountains, and I like to compete, so it's all just kind of a natural fit. I was here last year and ran the 26K, and it's a beautiful course. And then while I was during the 42K last year when the other runners were running, I went out training on the course, and I saw that it's really quite a beautiful course. So this year I'm at an interesting point in my season because I just came off of an injury. So this is my first race back, and I've really actually kind of just started to really do a lot more running. So I'm not really sure where my fitness is, but I figure I've done the 26, the 42 is new, it's beautiful, it's challenging, it should be a good run either way. If I can race well, then that will be great. And if, either way, it's still a good day in the mountains and, a good training session for my other goals this year.
Ragna Tobots, 2018 World Series winner, tells us about the importance of this event.
It is difficult to prepare longer races and shorter races in very short time span, so it was difficult, but finally I did well enough to win the World Series. I think everybody's here, all the strong athletes, all the elite athletes are here. It's a very important race as it counts twice. And strategically it's important to be here and to be here in a good shape. So I think many athletes have focused on this race and will be here in a good shape. So there will be a very, very tough competition.
Rain is in the forecast for tomorrow, but we will see. The big day has come. It's race day. It's calmed down in Baruera, but up high, the clouds are threatening in the sky.
Yeah, my sensations are good, but really I can only tell when I start running. So hopefully I will have a good feeling when I start running and I'll be able to do a good course.
Uncertainty and expectation are in the air. Right now I'm very nervous, just a few minutes before the start, but I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully the weather won't be too bad and will not suffer, but enjoy it.
Excitement, I guess. I'm really looking forward to just getting up there. The weather's looking nice at the moment, but we're expecting rain, so I like a bit of rain, so just see how it goes.
Just a few minutes away from the start now.
I'm really happy, my body feels okay, so yeah, I'm ready to and excited to go.
The race starts with a fast pace while the runners pass through the traditional streets of Baruera, which has a gala atmosphere today. A good show is guaranteed. There's a lot of expectation in the streets. Nobody wants to miss out on this moment. At this point in the race, the wheat has already been separated from the chaff. Japan's Rui Ueda and Swede Johanna Astrom have a small lead, but there is still a long way to go. At kilometer 16, Ueda is still strong and leading the race. Oriol Cardona is behind him and seems to be controlling the rhythm with Zaid in his wake. In the women's race, Astrom is still very strong in front while Alvides suffers so as not to lose too much time. It seems that the two remaining uphills will be foggy, an additional difficulty on this technical route, but more experienced runners and those accustomed to this weather may benefit from the adverse conditions. Already reaching the final section, Rui Ueda is still the leader. But the gaps are getting smaller. Cardona seems to have the situation under control just before the climb at La Galada.
Okay, now, from the beginning.
Astrom keeps the lead, but she's less than a minute ahead of the Spanish runner. The gaps are now minimal. Oriol has almost caught up. He manages to increase his pace and overtakes him. At the top of La Galada, everything is very tight. The last and long descent will be a decisive one. Technique and speed specialists such as Jonathan Albon or Sheila Alviles take advantage of their strengths here. The runners are already at the bottom and entering Barruera again. Oriol Cardona, cheered on by the crowd, makes it to the finish line full of emotion. He's managed to win his first Skyrunning World Cup at home in front of his people. I tried to do a smart race and not burn all my energy at the beginning. I tried to get a constant rhythm and maintain it for 40 kilometers, because if you start to run fast, you'll pay for it at the end, which is what happened to Rui. Albon picked up the pace and arrives in second.
It's always tough for me to, at the start, the first climb felt awful, second climb didn't feel much better, but it seems like they didn't get any worse. I tried to push in the last sort of 500 meters of the uphill, and then I could feel a stitch coming on the whole time. Turned around at the uphill and thought, oh, so then running downhill really wasn't happening very quick, and Oriol was really fast downhill anyway, so I gave it a good shot, but I kind of had resigned myself into second place.
This style of race is very hard for me. The climbs were good, really good, but the downhill is very hard for me, the technical, so yeah, I'm pleased.
And in the women's category, Sheila Aviles demonstrates she is in top form. Gleefully, she reaches the finish line. The large crowd in the finish line welcomes the local runner with a heartwarming ovation. Truth is, I had a very progressive race. The Swedish runner who was at first ran very fast, and the truth is that she is a great athlete. I didn't know who she was, and I didn't know her, but she didn't slow down. I managed to get her on the second downhill, so I got motivated, and so I bet it all on my last card. Johanna Astrom arrives in second.
It's my first race in this World Skyrunning Series, so I don't know what I should expect, but I try to go out, maybe I go out a little bit hard, but I felt good actually to the 30 kilometers, then I get a little trials.
Oh, really, really happy, yeah, I never expected that at all. Once I got into third, I had Ragnar just behind, like I always kept looking behind, like, oh, she's coming, because I was a bit scared on the first downhill. Like, I broke my foot in March, and I lost a lot of confidence on the downhills, so I thought, okay, you've got to go hard on the uphills. But then the last downhill, I got competitive anyway, so I went hard, forgot about my foot.
I'm pleased with the result. I feel my pace is similar in ultras as in marathon. So I feel I just missed this little bit extra to run fast, but in my pace I feel comfortable, I feel well, I feel I'm enjoying but suffering at the same time, so I cannot be happy.
Sheila Alviles finishes with over 5 minutes of a lead on Johanna Astrom, Holly Page in third position, leaving Ragnar Tobots in fourth. An exceptional podium with the best skyrunners on the planet. And for the men, Oriol Cardona had more than a 2-minute lead over British runner Jonathan Albon, who had an incredible comeback and finished in second place. Zaid Malik climbs to the third step of the podium after beating Japan's Ueda in the final leg of the race. And that is an incredible podium right there. At the same time, mountain bike races and the Buff Epic Trail races over 26 and 12 kilometers take place. So this is where everyone has an opportunity to choose their race and set their own pace. Mountain sports lovers have been able to live the festival in the best possible way and enjoy the good weather in the World Heritage Site that is Val de Bois. And so the festival that brought together fans of mountain sports from all over the world comes to a close. A unique weekend in an extraordinary environment. The third edition of the Buff Mountain Festival welcomed 17,000 visitors from more than 40 countries and still hasn't stopped growing. We'll be excited to see the next competition.